Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day. Thanks for joining us for today's virtual Convention and Visitor Bureau Power Lunch. My name is Jennifer Sugarman. I'm the President and CEO of the Cocoa Beach Regional Chamber of Commerce. I also have with me Michelle Goldkamp, who's our CVB manager. And we have an incredible speaker lined up for today who's going to be sharing his presentation shortly. But with all of our chamber events, even virtual, we also have the opportunity for sponsorships. And today's sponsor I happen to know pretty well. His name is Chris Sugarman. He is the owner and operator of Ready Set Game, which is a video game store located in Indian Harbor Beach, Florida, at the intersection of A1A and Ugali. So if you're interested in more information about them, they have a profile on the Chamber's website. They also have social media everywhere. And Chris couldn't be with us today. Like most of you small business owners know, he is a one-man shop owner. So he's in there today running his store, but does have a video that he wanted me to play for just a couple minutes. So I'm going to play about 3 minutes of that for the sponsor opportunity. Once we're done with the sponsor spotlight, we'll just do a very quick round robin of who's in attendance today. So that way our speaker can hear from you and know who's in the audience. And then we will introduce Tom and he will begin his presentation. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to type it out into the chat. Or at the end, when there's an opportunity to do so, just unmute yourself and ask the question and Tom will be sure to answer it. So without further ado, I'm going to try to share my screen here the right way, make sure I can get sound going. There we go. And here is a word from our sponsor, Ready Set Game.
Hi, I'm Chris, owner-operator of Ready Set Game here in Indian Harbor Beach, Florida. We've been here for 5 years specializing in retro video gaming, card games like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh, and board games as well. When I started Ready Set Game 5 years ago, it had always been my intention to run and operate a video game store. It's always been a passion of mine. When I was young, I started gaming and got my first Nintendo console when I was 4 years old. It was something that I had never let go of, and when I first started working, my first job was at a local video game store, much like the one that I have here today. I wanted to do something that was different than the other game stores were doing. I wanted a selection of unique games and consoles, something that was fun and exciting and kind of opened up the nostalgia in people when they came in, almost as if they were walking into a time capsule. I would say that our target demographic here is 18 to 36. It's guys like me who grew up playing this exact stuff. And they decided that one day they wanted to recapture a little bit of their childhood, so they did. And how they were able to do that is by finding the games and replaying them, and that's what we offer here. A place that you can go and find games that you grew up with, and actually get those games and bring them home with you and enjoy a little bit of your childhood. It's so much more than just purchasing a video game. It's more of a feeling that you're tapping into. That's really what we're doing here, is an emotion, a feeling, nostalgia. When you buy a used game, you're talking about spending anywhere from $2.99 and up, and if you get even just a few hours out of a video game, if you've only spent $5–10 on it, it's well worth it. If you were to go through any other kind of medium, like for instance a movie, you would be sitting there, $10 a ticket. If you're going with two people, $20 right there. You've got popcorn at $5–6, and drinks and things like that. Before you know it, you've spent $50 at the movie theater for about 2 hours of entertainment. Whereas with a video game, you can spend $10 on a game, get 60, 100 hours, even beyond that. So the value is incredible that you're getting with a video game as opposed to other forms of media as well. So a lot of times people will come in here and ask, well, how do you get all these games? Do you go out garage sailing? Do you guys go online and pick up your inventory? And the answer is no. We're very busy. We simply don't have time. What people do is they come in here and actually bring us the games that they want to sell us. Sometimes people just want to come in, they want to sell their games cash, and we're perfectly fine with that. Some people just want to take their older games like these Nintendo, Super Nintendo, whatever GameCube games, and trade it towards the latest and greatest system, whether it be Nintendo Switch or an Xbox One or PS4. These are things that you can do yourself. You can come into the store with your games and consoles, Magic the Gathering cards, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, whatever the case may be. You can bring them in and either get cash or store credit, just kind of depending on what you're after. When you first come into the store, you're going to be greeted with our retro video game selection. Over here, you can find our Sega Genesis, Dreamcast, Sega Saturn.
Okay, so I'm only going to show a little bit of that video. It's a 9-minute video, but he got a few minutes. So hopefully that gave you a bit of an idea of what our family business is on the side. Well, it's very much his family business. I don't have time for it and I don't understand it. So if you're interested in going, please go. If you're a gamer or if you're a grandparent that finds a bunch of video games or a parent up in your attic, he will take them. He would love to see you at Ready, Set, Game. Now we're going to do just a quick round robin. If you will keep it to about 60 seconds, we'd love to have your name, your title, and your company, a little bit about what you do. Part of what we do when we're in person is networking, and we want to keep that up even though we're virtual this month. We'll be back live next month. So my team members, for the sake of time, I'll just introduce really quickly. Michelle Goldcamp, if you'll wave, you are our CVB manager, and Cheryl Clark, who is on the top there, is our senior manager of partnership development. So very happy to have a couple members of my team on with us. And then I'm going to first ask Barb with Rytech to unmute and introduce yourself, please.
Good morning or good afternoon. Barb with Rytech. We're a water damage and mold remediation company. And for the month of September and October, if you know anybody that has property that has water intrusion or possible damage or mold, we're offering free assessments and then half off on the repair work. So Barbara with Rytech, it's not dry until it's Rytech dry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diane George.
Hey there. Happy National Dog Day. It's National Dog Day today. I'm Diane with the Brevard Humane Society. We're a nonprofit with the wonderful Cocoa Beach Regional Chamber of Commerce. We are having a spectacular event this Saturday. It's called Tuxes and Tails. We still have some tickets available for donation. In other words, the funds you spend for the ticket is a donation to our organization. And you can go on our website, brevardhumanesociety.org, if you're interested in helping the Brevard Humane Society. And it's called Tuxes and Tails. It's at the Space Coast Convention Center this Saturday, the 28th. And it's from 5:30 to 7:30. And thank you very much. We have silent auction. Wayne Ivey, if you've never met him, come meet him. He's awesome. And that's my info. Diane with the Brevard Humane Society.
Great, thank you so much. Hunter Savage.
Hi, everyone. Hunter Savage with 401k Florida. I'm a certified retirement plan specialist. We work with businesses to advise and manage retirement plans, anywhere from a simple IRA to a 401k and anything under the sun. So if you have any retirement questions about with your business, feel free to send me an email or give me a call. Thank you.
Thank you. Deidre.
Good afternoon, everybody. Deidre Schubert with the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation, your local nonprofit for helping seniors in need. We have 3 adult day health centers and many programs since we are a nonprofit, everything from non-emergency medical transportation, in-home respite care, meal assistance, and even energy assistance. Last month, we replaced 2 AC units and paid thousands of dollars in delinquent FPL bills for any of our seniors that were behind. On Monday, August 30th at 12 o'clock, I'm hosting a virtual webinar on elder abuse, neglect, and exploitation awareness for professionals. And I'll put that link in the chat. It is free and it's from 12 to 1. So it's a bring your own lunch kind of thing. Thank you, everyone. Deidre Schubert with the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation.
Awesome. Helene, Scott.
Hi, everyone. I'm Helene Scott. I'm the CEO of Life Unlock Coaching. I transitioned a 23-year career as an executive in HR to having my own coaching practice where I work with executives who are having problems and they really need to identify the patterns of their behavior that's causing the issues. So we do coaching, we identify patterns, and then from there we could create other strategies to help them have the success that they're looking for. I'm new to the Space Coast and I'm new to the chamber, and I'm very happy to be here. Helene Scott from Life Unlock Coaching. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Fred Martin, you're next.
I'm Fred Martin. I'm a retired export manager, 27 years in that business. Before that, I was a radar person. So you can see it, beginnings of an electronics lab manager. I volunteer when I can at the Convention and Visitors Bureau. I love it. I think the Convention and Visitors Bureau does a wonderful job of promoting our area. And well, we have people moving here. Hello, Denise. We have people moving here, as well as people who come here and visit and have a great time. I guess that's about it. Just moved over to IRCC off the island. But
Fred, thank you. And that's a good plug. That's a great plug for our CVB, and we couldn't do it without our volunteers. And if any of you are interested, you can work remote from our CVB office and interact with some of our tourists and people that are interested in coming here. So Michelle will gladly add you to the roster. Please contact her if that's something you're interested in. Karen McCree, you're next. You're going to hover to the bottom left and hit the microphone. There you go.
I got it. No sweat. Yes, sorry about that. Karen McCree, Independent Associate for Legal Shield. Legal Shield gives people the ability to contact an attorney anytime without having to worry about the high hourly cost for as little as $24.95 a month. Single people, married people, doesn't matter. Small businesses can live carefree, worry-free. No matter what legal situation that you are faced with, they have an attorney to come to step in and to solve whatever legal problem that you have. And I also market ID Shield. ID Shield is a powerful identity theft plan. Anytime your identity is compromised in any shape or form, all you have to do is just, they will appoint an agent, and you just sign over a power of attorney to the agent, and that agent will provide full restoration. Karen McCree, Independent Associate for Legal Shield.
Perfect. Thank you. Sherry Tabbitt.
Hi, I'm Sherry Tabbitt. I'm a full-service, full-time residential realtor with RE/MAX Elite. As you know, it really is a seller's market right now. Our inventory is going up a little bit. Back in probably about March, we had about 700 units in Brevard County, and we're up to almost 1,400 today. So we're starting to turn around a little bit. It's still very busy out there. And we're going into snowbird season, so I expect some more condos and things like that to go on the market. And if you know anybody buying or selling or relocating, or somebody that's currently renting that would like to purchase, would love you to send them my way to at least talk to them, so I can see if we're a good fit and if I can help them with the real estate transactions. Thank you. Sherry Tabbitt from RE/MAX Elite.
Thank you. And don't let your dog ruin your floors is my moral of my story. Jamie, you're next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jamie Rude. I am with Premier Nationwide Lending. I do mortgages. I am a military spouse. I'm currently right now in Charleston, but we are PCSing and moving to the Patrick Air Force Base area. I'm from there. I grew up the Space Coast. I worked with Cheryl Clark years ago, but I'm opening up a branch in lending there. I do a lot of VA loans. I do other loan programs as well, but I love what I do, and I love giving back to the community. So I'm looking forward to working with new agents and so forth. And my name is Jamie Rude with Premier Nationwide Lending.
Thanks, Jamie. I love everything about what you just said. Thanks for your family service, and I hope that you will become involved with our MAC when you're here.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. All right, Katie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Milley, owner of Pegasus Bookkeeping. We provide bookkeeping and tax services for tourism businesses and other small businesses that create or entertain. Whether you provide your clients with fun creations or unique experiences, I want to support your business by focusing on the financials so that you can focus on the fun. Again, I'm Katie Milley with Pegasus Bookkeeping, and I'm also fairly new, just moved to Florida about a month ago.
Welcome to paradise. Melinda, you're next. I'm glad we were able to get you on.
Yes, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Melinda Kretschmer. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for St. Francis Reflections. St. Francis Reflections is hospice care. We have been in hospice care for over 4 decades, helping people live their remaining of their lives to the fullest with comfort, dignity, and individual focus. We also offer grief support, as well as we are always looking for volunteers. We have a foundation. We also help children who are going through illnesses, which is a wonderful way to help with our foundation to help with children. And we have a care center and palliative care. Again, my name is Melinda Kretschmer, and I'm here representing St. Francis Reflections, and we're a nonprofit. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here. Jackie Mickelson, you're next.
Hi, you guys. I'm kind of new here. I've been here 2 years. I actually grew up in Lake County, but always loved coming to the Space Coast every weekend. So I work for a marketing firm called the Ad League. We do both digital and traditional. One of our primary goals is to educate just any small businesses that might need some help in marketing, how to read Google Analytics, branding, things like that. So we host monthly lunch and learns. You'll see those come through on the chamber, and we'd love to have anybody. They're free. We provide lunch if they're in person. And we do have a large facility here, so we bring them into the training area and we do lunch and learns, and it's I hopefully we'll get something out of it. We had a great one last month, and the next one coming up is September 22nd, and it's going to be about branding your business and different ways to do that. So I'd love to see you guys there if you can make it.
Awesome. Thank you. Just wanted to note in the chat, both Jessica from CNSKI, Sun Care, and Sanitizer is here. She couldn't do an intro, but she's here. And then same with Angela Essing, who's with the City of Cocoa. So thanks for putting your contact information in the chat. Welcome to you both. I'm going to go on to Deb Foley.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Jen. I am Deborah Foley with Brevard Public Schools. My job is community engagement. So I run 2 programs, Partners in Education, which is a program that helps get businesses engaged with schools kind of on a grassroots relationship building level, no money. And then we also have a very robust advertising program. So if you have a product or service that you want to reach our 73,000 students' parents, or our 9,300 employees, I have a little program for you to do that. Deborah Foley, Brevard Public Schools.
Thank you. We're pulling for the schools right now. I know it's a crazy time, so thanks for what you're doing. All right, Kathy Matson, you are next if you'd like to unmute.
Hi there, I'm Kathy Matson, and I am with Friends of Children of Brevard, which is a nonprofit, and we advocate for children who've been removed from their homes due to abuse, neglect, or abandonment. I put my contact information in the chat, but also if you want to, you can certainly like us on Facebook and follow the projects and services that we're providing to right now over 1,000 children in our county that have been removed from their homes. So our Facebook page is Friends of Children of Brevard. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleen Mazzoni.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Colleen Mazzoni with Brevard Property Experts in Management, and I manage a portfolio of homes here in Brevard County. So I'm always looking for owners who don't want to deal with being a landlord, and the rental market is just as crazy as, selling houses these days. There's a huge shortage. All the investors have decided to cash in, so they've sold their properties, and now we don't have enough rentals for everybody. And so people are literally renting sight unseen, and just trying to get applications in to, be considered for a home. So there's slim pickings out there. So I'm Colleen Mazzoni with Brevard Property Experts in Management.
Thanks, Colleen. Clara Rodriguez.
Hey, everybody. I'm Clara. I am with Coldwell Banker Paradise. I am a commercial specialist. I work with either landlords looking to fill their space or somebody's looking for a new place to expand their business. I also have connections with South Florida. I have some developers looking to expand to this area. So if you know of anybody that is selling land, please reach out to me. They're really looking and are very, very interested in this area. And again, if you're looking to lease a space or move or build, just let me know. Clara with Coldwell Banker Paradise.
Thank you. Everybody's all in a row here. Sharon Knoll, you're next.
Hi there, Sharon Knoll, Remax Solutions. I'm very glad that today was kind of a Zoom thing because I'm at an inspection right now. So it actually worked out very well for me personally. Hi to everyone there, buying, selling, landlords, tenants, everybody. I will help you if you need a roof over your head. I'm your gal. Thanks.
Thank you. I see you out on Pineda picking up trash. You do good work. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. On that note, if anybody wants to join the Waterway Warriors, let me know.
There you go. I always see your car out there. Suzanne McCarthy, you are next.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. I think I'm going to have to get my GM to get me a camera so I can have my face up there too. I'm Suzanne McCarthy. I'm with the Beachside Hotel and Suites. We're right here next to Ron John's in Cocoa Beach. We have amazing lazy river, and we're doing a lot of birthday parties and stuff right now. We just got a 40th birthday party, so it's not just for the kids, it's for the adults too. And it's nice to see so many new faces. It sounds like a lot of people are moving to our area. So good to have everyone. Suzanne McCarthy, Beachside Hotel and Suites.
Thank you. It's an amazing lazy river. I have floated in several times now.
You need to come back soon.
Yes, I do. It's the only time I'm weightless. All right, Ron Burford, you are next.
All right, there we go. Hey, everybody, I'm Ron Burford. I'm with Launch Network Digital Media Services. We do everything from websites to social media management, Google My Business page management, as well as Brevard County's fastest growing network of indoor digital billboards. So the TVs you see with advertising on them at places like the MedFast Urgent Care, for instance, or fish slips in the port. So anyways, if you need exposure in the community, we are specialists in that. I'm the guy you want to talk to. My number's in the chat, my email address, my website, whatever you need, just give me a call. We'll help you out. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Ron. We're down to the last two. Alexander Ash, you are next.
Sorry about that. One sec. All right. Hi, I'm Alexander Ash. I am the owner operator of Tommy's Express, the new car wash over in Viera. We are located off of Veterans Way. We're at 2800 Veterans Way. I think if you come by, if you haven't come by yet, you really like our product, and yeah, come give us a try.
Awesome. Thanks for coming. Welcome to the chamber. Congrats on your ribbon cutting, and I have got a dirty Jeep for you. Courtney Cannon, you are last on my list. Courtney Cannon.
Hi, I'm Courtney Cannon with Kennedy Space Center, and glad to be here and looking forward to Mr. Engler's speech.
Wonderful. Thanks for your help in setting this up today. Did I miss anybody other than our speaker? Okay, great. Well, like I said, at any time during the presentation, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat or comments, and we'll make sure we get to those at the end. Thanks for your patience, Tom. We just like to make sure that everybody has a chance to introduce themselves at these things. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the introduction. I'm just going to get right into the presentation, and want to thank Tom Engler, who's joined us today from, well, I guess it's technically NASA and Kennedy Space Center. Much smarter guy than myself, and so I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into it and let you share your screen and start the presentation today. Welcome.
Well, thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to speak to you all about what we're doing at the Space Center. Obviously, everybody has a vested interest in our success out there, and I will let you know at the beginning, you'll hear me say it a couple of times, we certainly could not do it without the greater public that is Brevard County in the state of Florida. So I'm going to turn off my video and turn on the screen share.
We can see it.
Okay, so as I'm staring, can you see it okay?
Yep.
All right, awesome. So this is our 2021 update for KSC, and we'll go through what we have done in general at the center, talk a little bit about planning and the partnerships, and then the programs that we have on the center. So as all of you, well, at least those of you who've been around at least 10 years, you well know the transition that's gone on at the center for the last 10 years. We had the space shuttle program that flew for approximately 30 years that ended in 2011. And at the end of that program, we took a concerted effort to convert the Kennedy Space Center into what we call a multi-user spaceport. And of course, we got to brand ourselves so we are the premier multi-user spaceport, because that's just what we do. And we'll talk through what that means here in this presentation. But basically, one of kind of the bottom line of this is that we have, through the partnerships and activities that we've done on the center, we have really enabled a significantly more diverse user base through the combination of out grants, which is leasing for those of you that don't speak real estate, and transfers of over $1 billion in NASA assets that were NASA owned, still technically are, but are now operated and maintained by non-NASA stakeholders, which was a significant change to the center in that we were able to, we had a tagline we called divest without diminish, where we divested of the capabilities and did not, however, diminish the capabilities we had on the center. And that allowed us to refocus some of the funding we were using to operate and maintain facilities and capabilities, and allow commercial companies to utilize those, but still have them to be used for the NASA overall mission. So it did help us lower our costs overall and achieve mission success, as you'll see here. So as we look at where we are, you can see the host of companies, and this is just a subset, and these are the companies that are on site here right now. So kind of starting top left, you've got Boeing, which took over what was the shuttle processing facility, orbital processing facility Bay 3, and then also in conjunction with the Air Force with the X-37 program, they took over orbital processing facility Bays 1 and 2. So Boeing has a pretty significant presence out there between the commercial crew and cargo processing facility, which is that beautiful building you see on the top with the nice drawing on or painting on the front of it, and then the two other bays that we've turned over to them. In addition to that, we've got, of course, Blue Origin, and I think y'all know about what Blue Origin is. It's Jeff Bezos's baby company to do space travel, and they have done a significant amount of work in Exploration Park. And if you haven't at least driven by Exploration Park, you can drive by their factory and see what they've done. It's an amazing set of facilities. It's a huge complex out there, and they have done a lot to develop that capability out there for their purposes. And in addition to that, and where you can't drive by without getting into serious trouble, is their Complex 36 development over on the Space Force Station side, where they are building their launch pad for their New Glenn launch vehicle. We're also working with Sierra Nevada Corporation, and that is a company that is going to fly payloads to International Space Station for us through the commercial cargo contract that we have. And then Lockheed Martin with the Orion spacecraft. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. SpaceX, of course, you've seen a lot of their activity. They're flying a lot out of 39A and Complex 40 on the Space Force Station side. And they have invested a significant amount into the infrastructure out there. And then top center here is our space launch system that is still on schedule to fly by the end of the year at this time. Hopefully that'll happen. But they are making significant progress on center with that. And we'll talk about that in a second as well. So Again, just from a facility portfolio standpoint, we again have, through a combination of out grants and demolition, reduced our maintenance requirements for about $7 billion worth of assets in 2011 to just over $5.5 billion, which took our square footage down from 7.6 million square feet of space to 6.1 million, which the bottom line, and this is the important part for us, our operations and maintenance budget dropped by over $50 million a year. So that was a significant change for us, and really, again, allows us to invest that into actual space travel and the development of the capabilities for that. From a property overview standpoint, we're gonna, for those of you that are planners in the audience and the real estate folks, you'll understand this a little bit as well. We have over 140,000 acres. That is the Kennedy Space Center. A lot of that is protected and developed lands, and that presents some issues for us with respect to the development aspects. But one of the things we do to maintain those protected and undeveloped lands is partner with the Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge, which is part of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and the Canaveral National Seashore, which is part of the National Park Service. And so what you see is everything that's kind of that maybe closer to Kelly Green on there is the part of Kennedy Space Center that's within our secure boundary. And then everything outside of that and the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station is preserved. But again, what you'll note is out of the 144,000 acres that we have, we've developed just a little bit more than 5,000 acres of that, or 3.5%. And so the rest of it remains refuge. And for those of you that like birding and nature, the north end where you see the Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge logo on the screen there, that's a great birding area, and it's an opportunity for you to go out there. That's accessible through 402 on Titusville, and it's a pretty neat environment out there. The other part is that we have a significant operational relationship with the Space Force Station to do things like provide utilities, commodities for launch, security, and then the range services and facilities. And so we can't launch without them, and they can't launch without us. So we have a very tight partnership to ensure that we're supporting the launch activities that are happening there. So from a development consideration, we've got 4 major things that influence our ability to develop. First of which is wetlands, and you can see on the left-hand side, all of that green is wetlands. So that's a lot of that's underwater and is very difficult to develop in. And if you develop in it, you have to, of course, remediate somewhere else to offset the what you're destroying in the wetlands area. And so we've been working a lot. We have to work a lot with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection to ensure that we're doing the right thing, and of course the St. Johns River Water Management District, and we're doing what we need to there to ensure that our environment remains protected. The other thing is, as you might expect with launch, there's a lot of hazardous commodities, and the fancy term called quantity distance arcs are those areas where if something happens, that's the distance shrapnel will be hurled if there is an explosion. So all of those red areas there are operational areas where there's hazardous operations going on, and you cannot develop in those areas. Those areas do expand for launch. So what you see, the 2 little red dots kind of on the right side of that part of the screen are the 2 launch pads that we have, 39A and 39B. And of course, when you have a launch day, those quantity distance arcs turn into launch areas, and those expand outward pretty significantly. And then on top of that, we've got threatened and endangered species, scrub jay and gopher tortoise, in addition to bald eagles and a number of those threatened and endangered species. So we have to continually be aware of that. And then, of course, the final thing we have to be worried about is sea level rise. And what you see on the right-hand side is what would end up happening if the NOAA 2080 intermediate high sea level rise comes to pass, and the oceans rise that amount. And so what was kind of wetlands now turns into lagoon or ocean area, and those are areas we absolutely just won't develop in as a part of that. So to that, we're left with these growth boundaries, and that's all the areas in red that you see there. And we only have about 7,500 acres available out of the 144,000 acres that we have to accommodate future development. And so those growth boundaries are there to keep us in a certain box, literally and figuratively, and we can only develop in those areas. And so we've gone through an environmental analysis that has helped us to understand what those areas are and how we work within them. And that allows us to fulfill the National Environmental Policy Act requirements that that we have to keep ourselves, basically clean from an environmental perspective. And we have to do that because we have such an expansive property, and it is obviously very unique because there's really nowhere else in the world where you're doing this kind of activity at this level. So we have to ensure that we cooperate with the environment because it's taking good care of us, so we need to take good care of it. And we're as we develop, we make sure we do so in areas that have already been disturbed, or when we do just have to disturb some areas, that we remediate those areas in other areas. So that's part of what we do. The other thing we're focusing on right now is our infrastructure, and the good news is the launch rates are only going to increase as we have more providers out on the center. Between us and the Space Force Station, you can see that we get somewhere close to 100 launches by the end of the decade. That is up from what was kind of pre-commercial, of about probably 15 to 20 a year between civil space, national security space, which is the DoD missions, and the pure commercial launches. You can see the commercial launches are taking over, and that's good. That was the intent of how we structured a lot of the activities we were doing. And we want to make sure that capability remains because it helps us to ensure that we have effectively, and I'll use the DoD term, assured access to space by having multiple providers that are healthy. Then we have a way to get our astronauts and payloads and things like that into space. So it's a pretty significant activity for us. So from a program and project standpoint, we have 5 programs on center: commercial crew, launch services, the exploration ground systems, the gateway, and exploration research and technology. And we'll talk through those in a little bit more detail here. So commercial crew, that is most of the excitement you've seen here over the last couple of years with respect to launching astronauts into space. The cool thing was May 30th of last year, we launched the first astronauts from American soil since the end of the shuttle program on the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. It's a huge milestone for us and just amazingly exciting, and we are continuing to build on that. So we can't be more excited than we are to see astronauts lifting off from American astronauts lifting off from American soil again on American rockets. Crew 2 happened April 23rd of this year, and that crew is still on orbit on station. And then Crew 3 is planning to fly sometime toward the in the October timeframe, I believe. So Boeing had its first orbital flight test in 2019, and I'm sure you've read about some of the things they've been facing since then. So I won't go too deeply into that. And right now, because they did have to roll back from the launch pad for the operational flight test 2, they don't quite yet have a launch date defined yet. Some of that is because of, interestingly enough, a lot of traffic up at International Space Station. So that's the good news is ISS is very busy. And so we'll put, as it's available and ready to go, we'll put the operational flight test 2 back into the manifest and get it ready to fly. Artemis is NASA's program, of course, to get us back to the moon, boots on the moon by 2024. First woman, next man on the moon, and right now that's still the date, although there's a possibility that may slide out a little bit, but that is currently the plan. And so to that end, we have all of, the nice thing is now, all of the elements for the Artemis program to fly Artemis 1 are now at Kennedy Space Center. And what you see in the middle there is we call it the stack of the Artemis 1 launch vehicle, and what you see, the orange core is the core stage. You probably remember the orange core from the external tank. It's larger and has the engines directly attached on the bottom of it now. That's the major difference. And then the two boosters on either side is that a little bit of that white that you see in the cylinders on either side. You can see the booster segments in the bottom left picture, and what you also see is some of the testing we've done to move the crawler and the mobile launcher back and forth between the vehicle assembly building and launch pad. That's on the left-hand side of the page. And so again, all of the processing is working to plan right now, and we're actually headed toward what's called a wet dress rehearsal, which means we will be filling that core stage with liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen toward the end of November is the current plan. So again, pretty exciting times for us on center. There's a tremendous amount of activity, and it is all to get us toward the moon as quickly as possible. Here's just a quick video flow of the Orion processing through the operations and checkout facility. And I do have to kind of pause here. I mentioned early on, a lot of this activity that's happening on center would not have been possible without really the state of Florida and the community participating in that. And when you look at, and I'm sure all of you are familiar with all of these significant economic development activities occurring between, for example, the EDC of Florida Space Coast run by Linda Weatherman, and then Space Florida. And then what you also might not know is that the Florida Department of Transportation actually has space as a mode of transportation, which is unique in the United States. If anybody's done it, but since last time I checked, they're copying the state of Florida, but Florida did that probably 25, 30 years ago, and it's a pretty amazing thought process to do that. And so FDOT actually helps, Florida Department of Transportation actually helps to enable core infrastructure and things like that for these companies. So when you look at the combination of the economic development activities and the state being able to help contribute towards some of these core pieces of infrastructure, that is a significant part of the reason why we have all this activity out on the center. So I'd like to say that we could not have done what we did out at the state without the state of Florida and the EDC of Florida Space Coast, because we just absolutely could not have. And so I always like to throw that commercial in there because it's an important thing. So Artemis Firing Room, the simulations are ongoing for that, and that trains the launch team to be prepared for any potential issue that might come up during launch. The lady that you see in the bottom right is Charlie Blackwell Thompson, our first female launch director. So that's a pretty significant milestone for us. And she's an amazing lady, and she has this launch team getting whipped into shape every day. So it's good stuff. Deep Space Logistics is a recent entry to our programs, and they are doing the logistics part of the Gateway Lunar Outpost. The Gateway Lunar Outpost is a area that, or a set of facilities in space that will allow astronauts and payloads to transition between Earth and the Moon, and eventually between Earth and Mars. And because it's at a point that is in a kind of a gravity neutral spot between the Earth and the Moon, it allows easier transition of logistical supplies and astronauts down to the lunar surface and then back to Earth from the lunar surface. So it's a pretty significant step, and is a credit to the hard work of the folks at Kennedy Space Center that we're doing that work here now. Launch Services Program does a lot of work to find rides, and by rides, launch vehicles for NASA's scientific payloads. And so what KSC did probably 25 years ago is put together this Launch Services Program team that assesses the requirements of the particular satellite that is needing to fly on to a particular point, be it low Earth orbit or to the sun or deep space, and they find rides for that and do so appropriately. And in addition, they also advise the commercial crew program and ensure that their launch vehicles are ready to fly for the crew folks, commercial resupply services, and the Artemis program. They provide advisory services to that as well. So it's a pretty talented, amazing group of people. Those are the real rocket scientists on center. And then the exploration, research, and technology programs. There is a misnomer that Kennedy Space Center is an operational center. It is, but we also do a lot of amazing research out there. And one of the there's a couple of different things. In the upper right corner, you see the SwampWorks logo. What you see there is a bin that has material in it that simulates the lunar regolith. And so they're able to go in there and test as if they were on the moon, and so test to see how equipment and all works in that environment. And then the other major thing they're doing is doing plant growth research in space. And the nice thing about the technology that we're developing at the center is a lot of that is turning into technology transfer opportunities. There's a company that has taken some of the fertilizer technology that was developed at the Kennedy Space Center and developed a commercial product out of it that actually helps with lagoon health and things like that, because it more effectively meters the release of fertilizers into the environment, so you don't get these huge nitrogen rushes and blooms and all that. So in the lagoon, so there's a lot of technology transfer that has gone on. Another key piece is in the environmental world. Back in the 60s and 50s, we weren't real kind to the environment on the center, and so there's been a lot of research that's gone into how to clean up the environment, and a lot of great work that's come out of that as well. So I'll finish up with, to me, the coolest part of this, which is what we call our rocket garden between us and the Space Force Station. And what you see here is the range of launch vehicles from the very smallest. So you can see on the left-hand side, the Virgin Launcher 1, the Firefly Alpha, all the way up to the Space Launch System Block 2. So you can get payloads anywhere from 300 to 350 pounds into orbit to 250,000 pounds into orbit, and probably getting to be even more. So it's a pretty neat capability. Again, there's nowhere else in the world that you can find this range of launch vehicles and capabilities. And the really cool thing about what we've done at the center is when you look at this, what's kind of hidden in here, we had put together when we developed our master plan back in 2012, what we thought was kind of an audacious goal of having 5 commercial human spaceflight companies at the center by 2025. Well, it's 2021, and we currently have 4 companies doing commercial human space activities at the center. And that is Boeing with the CST-100, SpaceX with the Crew Dragon, Blue Origin with their New Glenn vehicle, and then Lockheed Martin with the Orion. And we're hopeful that the shuttle landing facility will be seeing maybe Virgin Orbit or Virgin Galactic come here and fly their suborbital flights, which would give us a 5th provider, and we would do that before 2025. And again, that is, you will not, just to kind of give you a feel for what that means in the history of human spaceflight, only 3 countries have ever flown humans to space: the United States, Russia, and China. And we're about to have the capability to do that with 4 different providers at the Kennedy Space Center. And with that, that is the end of my presentation. And I'm more than happy to take whatever questions at this point.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let me jump back on here. Okay, so we had a few comments in the chat. One of the questions was, is it possible, or is this presentation public, and are we able to send a copy out to the guests today?
Yes, this has been cleared for public release. I'll send it to you, and then you can send it to your distribution.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Another question: how many launches do you foresee taking place every year by 2030?
That was in that one chart, and we're looking at about 100 launches a year.
Incredible.
Yeah.
If anyone else has a question directly for Tom, now's the time. I don't see any more in the chat, but go ahead and just unmute yourself and ask whatever question you'd like to ask.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Are we going to have more companies moving in, more private companies? I know we kind of went over the development area, and I wasn't really sure if there's a lot of room to add more companies in there.
There is. Again, we've got approximately 7,500 acres for development still left. Plus, of course, there is extra capability out in Brevard County as well, as I'm sure you well know. And so one of the things that we're trying to focus on a little bit right now, because it helps us and it helps the private companies, is the supply chain. And as you might expect, the closer you can get the supply chain to where you're actually manufacturing, the better it is for everybody. So I'll say the EDC folks, again, Linda Weatherman's team and Space Florida are doing a lot to try to bring suppliers here. And so whether they want to come on to KSC property or host themselves elsewhere in the county, I know that that some of those folks have landed, figuratively speaking, out in Titusville. They've got the industrial park out there, and there's companies that are working in there. Of course, OneWeb is actually manufacturing satellites, and actually one of their suppliers is in that park out in Titusville. And again, that in general, I think that's just something that everybody's trying to enable as we move forward here.
So exciting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have a question before we move on to our giveaways? I see one coming through the chat. How fast can you reset the range? This was an issue when this person was previously working at KSC.
So what's really neat now is that so just kind of a little bit of inside baseball here. The Federal Aviation Administration actually manages commercial launches, and so one of the things that they have done is, in conjunction with NASA and the 45th Space Wing, have enabled what is known as an autonomous flight termination system. One of the biggest issues in the past was what they called turning the range, which is basically where you go from having the range be set up for one type of rocket to another type of rocket. Now with the autonomous flight termination systems, you don't have to do that. And we could conceivably get, and we've almost got it done a couple of times, it's just something's happened at the last minute. We could have multiple launches in one day. So that is a pretty neat development and a pretty significant enabler toward those 100 launches. That's honestly, without that, probably could not have gotten there without significant investment on the range side. So the fact that those systems are enabled and you don't require that range infrastructure for flight termination is a significant enabler toward the higher flight rates that we're looking at.
That's awesome. All right, last call for questions. Okay, hearing none. Tom, thank you so much for this. A lot of compliments in the chat on your presentation. We really appreciate you making the time to come and do this today. And
anytime, love to go tell our story. So anytime we can do that, just let us know. And if you need us to come back or know anybody else that wants to hear it, I'm more than happy to go talk to folks about it. It's a great story. And again, I have to thank, folks like Chamber of Commerce and all the different chambers of commerces that we have, including Cocoa Beaches and all of the different state agencies and the EDC that have made this possible. It would not have been possible without the collective state of Florida jumping in and making this happen. So thank you all.
That's right. And as a former EDC person, I couldn't agree more. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. I'm going to move on now to Michelle and have her jump on because we do have some giveaways, and then we'll say goodbye to you. And thanks so much for being here. Michelle, it's all yours.
Okay, so Jen is going to randomly draw people's names. So we put everybody who was on here's names into the list, and we have some giveaways. So our first one is 2 drink tickets to the Florida Beer Company. And Jen, who's the lucky winner of that?
And there is, if my box will open. Okay. Deidre Schubert.
Yay! In a couple months.
Right. Post-baby celebration.
Yes.
And then we another 2 drink. Oh, you can't see that because it whites it out on my flag. Another 2 drink tickets to the Florida Beer Company. And Jen, who do we have for that?
Karen McCree.
Yay! I can go right now. I'm not pregnant. Thank you.
Lucky.
You're welcome. And then 2 tickets to the Exploration Tower and 2 drink vouchers for Fish Lips. And Jen, who do we have for that one?
Deborah Foley.
Yay! And then I believe we had one more. Hold on, let me see. I had a picture of it because it's at the other chamber office. So I have a $50 gift Visa card donated by Victim, I can't read that, Maldonado with Launch Credit Union.
Victor Maldonado with Launch Credit Union.
Victor. Sorry for mispronunciation. And who do we have for that $50 gift card? And it's in another envelope for you.
Fred Martin.
Congratulations. So all of these will be over at the main chamber office, so you can pick them up there anytime. And with that, our next CVB Power Lunch will be in person. It will be in Cocoa Beach. We are confirming the restaurant that we are having it at, so we will send out an email with that confirmation. And our sponsor for next month is American Space Museum in Titusville.
Thanks,
Do you have
everybody.
anything?
Appreciate you coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye.
Thanks, y'all.
day.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Bye, thank you. Have a great
Bye.
day.
Thank you very much.